Okay, here I am applying my paint to the photo etch, and I'm going to be talking a little bit later, as I said before, in the build on the paint that I'm using. But I'm spraying this directly on the photo etch. I cleaned the photo etch with acetone prior to spraying. So now that I've got that on there, it's all cleaned, painted all up here, just like this. And this paint's covering really good. I'm putting a thick coat on it, and this is looking really good. Here it's done, so next thing I need to do is cut it out from the fret, and I'm going to be using a sharp utility knife to do that, and I've covered that in prior build videos, so I'm not going to go over any big detail about that, but I'm going to go ahead and cut these out and get them filed down and set just right so I can prepare to fold them. Okay, the next step here is to go ahead and cut these out. So I'm going to use this utility knife, as I said, and clip each one of these little pieces of brass that holds the photo etch into the fret. You got to make sure you have a really sharp knife to do this, and be real careful when you're doing it so it doesn't slip. It's really easy to slip and cut yourself. But once you get it loose, you can either try to cut real close to the brass part, or you can just cut the tabs and then easily file them down. I have a set of little diamond files that I use just to quickly file down any parts that need it. Those work really good. I got those at Harbor Freight. So there it is, clipped out. Now right here I'm just trimming off a little bit of those brass tabs before I go ahead and sand these parts slightly with the diamond file. But I've shown all this stuff before, so I'm not going to go into all that detail again. Now, I'm going to fold these using 2 razor blades, so you got to be real careful, make sure they don't slip. They make tools to fold photo etch parts, and you can get those tools at different hobby sites online. You can also, I think, get them directly from paragraphics.biz. With Paul there, who creates a lot of photo etch. In fact, I think he created this photo etch for JT Graphics, where I got this from. So I'm going to bend these over, and once the bend's there, I'll be able to fold them all the way over, but I want to get some CA and CA those in place, and this is what it looks like after I CA'd them together. Turned out really nice. Well, here they are with the grills in place. I CA'd these onto the plastic parts on the back of the impulse ports, and I think that looks really good. It adds a lot of nice detail, and the glow with the red and the orange coming through on those, yeah, that really does punch that up, and I think is definitely worth it. So remember, I got those from jtgraphics.com, and along with all the resin parts for this build. And these are really nice products. I'd highly recommend them, and it really looks good. So now we'll move on to the next thing. I went ahead and just glued the bulkhead on, and using a couple clamps here for the top part of the model. Obviously this will have to get pushed down some more, and there'll be a slight light leak there, but overall I wanted to show everyone what the red looks like in bright light in the room light here with the grills, which look pretty nice. So that definitely does look pretty good. I'm going to be very happy with that, I think. So there that is, and that's looking really good, so I'm very happy with that. So anyway, time to move on, and back to this top piece. I just put a first light coat of paint on it. Most of this was prime black, so except for this section right here, and it's already set up. So I'm going to have to plug this up and check to make sure my lights are still working, my emitter's still working for the fiber optics, and see if all that's ready to go. And I can go ahead and get ready to put another coat of paint on this, I think. And if that's good enough, then I'll install this diffusion material I have onto here. so we can diffuse the red lights for the grill. And this will be ready to hopefully install on top of the model, and I can start getting this thing wrapped up. Well, before I forget, I need to show you something. On the studio model, at this point and this point over here, there is light that emits out onto the hull. And I almost went ahead and did this. I mean, started to put this together and forgot about them, but I remembered. Let me show you what those look like on the studio model. Okay, here you can see it on the hull. And let me stop that and take a closer look. Alright, let's get closer on that, and you can see the light emitting right there underneath the manifold. And this is obviously a scene from Star Trek the Motion Picture. And in terms of the studio model, right there is where the hole was where that light came out. So I've drilled the hole on my model in the exact same location, and we'll be installing a 2mm lighthouse LED, quite a bright one at about 19,000 millicandles. And let me show you that. Okay, here's the LEDs that I've made up, and these are little lighthouse LEDs, and they are going to go into the holes that are right here, that are in the same location as they are on the studio model. And I've drilled those out, painted them on the inside, and we'll be popping these LEDs in place. So let me put those in and we'll take a look at, see what that looks like. Okay, there it is lit up, and I've chose these to be really bright because they are very bright on the studio model as shown in that clip. Of course the camera is overexposing that some, but I think overall that'll work out really well on there, and will show up on the hull and cast light down here the way I want it to. So now the next thing to do will be to solder these guys together and get their leads fixed up for both sides, so I can go ahead and put the part on top of here for the manifold shuttle bay and the grill thing that goes right here with its lights. Okay, there's an example of what that looks like, all lit up, and I've got good light blocking there, so it's not spilling out. It's just these here, which I'm going to end up covering over in tool dip anyway, because I don't want that light spillage from this white light interfering with the red for the grill work up here. But that turned out really good, so I'm happy with that. Actually, I'm not going to do that with tool dip. Come to think about it, I'm going to use Tulip Slick to cover these over for light blocking, and because it's an acrylic product, it will also act as a glue nicely to help hold these in, even though there's really no way for these to come out. But I have not glued them in, but they are, the hole for those was quite tight, so they can't move anyway. But let me go ahead and do that light blocking with a tulip on there, and we'll see what that looks like. Hopefully that'll turn out fine. Well, I put the tulip on here and it has set up nicely. These were coated in tool dip up here, but around the LEDs these were coated with the tulip product, and you can tell, maybe the camera's picking up because the tool dip is not highly reflective, in the Tulip Slick is very shiny. So those are really good. There's no light leaks coming from these guys at all now. So all the light we have is coming out directly onto the hull, just the way I wanted it to. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Let me block the light there. Over here on the other side, yeah, that's working out really good. So that, I think that'll work fine. So next thing I will do is go ahead and glue on this. I've already checked it, like I said I needed to do earlier. I've done that, and the light emitter and the The LED tape's working fine. I've gone ahead and glued in my diffusion material, and this is a piece of clear styrene with Krylon, well, I forget what it's called. It's a Krylon diffusing spray that I put on here, and which to me, that particular product works better than anything I've tried before in terms of those type of sprays, and that'll diffuse the red really well. So next thing to do is to glue this onto the top of this, and then I will be soldering these leads for this and for these down here onto the main power leads that I have coming into the model for right here, and I'll be able to go ahead and put the top hull completely on. So that'll be in the next build, and looking forward to getting her closed up, dealing with the light leaks, doing my final painting on the outside of her, and cutting off all these fiber optics. I think what I'm going to do, instead of painting, because of masking issues on this bulb that all of you have probably seen earlier in the build video series, I'm probably going to put a decal that I'm going to make to go around here to provide that dark stripe that crosses around the bulb. So that'll be coming up, and we're almost finished with this, so maybe a couple more build videos and hopefully it'll be done, maybe 3 at the max, and she'll be finished. So I want to thank everyone for watching, and happy modeling. Take care.